Good morning, Solomon. Thank you for joining us. I'm delighted to have you around. Can you just introduce yourself and tell me what you do?
Okay. No, thank you very much for having me. My name is Solomon Quaynor. I'm the Vice President for Private Sector, Infrastructure and Industrialization at the African Development Bank. So essentially, we work with governments and we work with private sector to invest in transport infrastructure, as well as in manufacturing, the manufacturing industry, where instead of exporting our raw materials overseas, we do value addition within the continent. So, one of my portfolio is industrialization, and that's where we look to support manufacturing or value addition to, local raw materials in Africa, so that we can actually increase the number of jobs and also the quality of jobs and the incomes, from those jobs. So that's what I do in a nutshell.
Okay. What do we talk about when you talk about green infrastructure for Africa, and why is it important?
To make that tangible to people, let me talk about what we all experience in terms of extreme weather events, where we see that we're having increased rainfalls all through the year, where you cannot differentiate between the rainy season and the dry season. And the intensity of the rainfalls are such that it comes in the form of cyclones, and a lot of property gets destroyed, a lot of roads get destroyed, a lot of bridges get destroyed. Okay, those are the things that we are trying to actually prepare our infrastructure against, so that those infrastructure will not be destroyed whenever we have cyclones or really heavy rainfalls. We've seen the droughts, in parts of Africa destroying agriculture. So what we're trying to do is actually build drought-resilient seeds, and so that those crops are not, easily destroyed by droughts. So that's what we mean by greening, and in particular, we want to focus on the infrastructure end of greening. And that's that's the reason we created the Alliance for Green Infrastructure in Africa.
And how do you do that? Do you do a bottom-up approach? Do you work with the communities, or is it just with different partners?
So ultimately, we're going to work with what we call infrastructure project developers. These are people who develop, transport infrastructure, energy infrastructure, telecoms infrastructure, water infrastructure. And some of them are actually in the local communities. They see the opportunity, they develop the project, but they don't have the skills and money to bring it to bankability to get the right funding. So we will partner with those developers. In some cases, our institution, Africa 50, which focuses on project development, will come in, identify those projects. And then in other cases as well, there will be regional companies, that are developers who see the opportunities in those markets and would also develop those projects. And the Alliance for Green Infrastructure in Africa will partner with all of these developers to bring their projects, green projects, to bankability fast and also with scale.
Yeah, and efficient.
Yeah. Yes.
What would be, in just a few words, a successful COP27 for you?
For me, it's that we move away from talk to implementation. That the significant amounts of money pledged by the G7, G20 countries to support the poorer countries in adapting better to climate change actually are provided because we don't have time. It's time for us to really focus on implementation. And in the context of the Alliance for Green Infrastructure in Africa, I hope we get more partners to the table so that we can actually get this established and get it moving, so that we also start to implement quickly.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, thank you very much.